TikTok influencer Mahek Bukhari guilty of murdering men in crash. Mahek Bukhari left and her mother Ansreen wanted to silence Saqib Hussain, who had threatened to reveal an affair he was having with the older woman. The trial heard. A social media influencer and her mother have been found guilty of murdering two men who died when their car was rammed off the road. Saqib Hussain and Hashim Ijazuddin, both 21, died when the car split in two near Leicester in February 2022. It happened after Mr. Hussain threatened to reveal an affair he and Ansreen Bukhari had been having. Jurors heard Mrs. Bukhari, 46, and her influencer daughter Mahek Bukhari were convicted after 28 hours of deliberations. The TikTok influencer, 24, and her mother, both from Tunstall, in Stoke-on-Trent, broke down in tears as the jury's verdicts were read out. During the trial, the jury at Leicester Crown Court, which heard that Mr. Hussain had threatened to use sexually explicit material to expose the long-running affair, listened to a panic 999 call he made in the moments before the crash. The jurors also found fellow defendants Rekan Karwan and Raiz Jamal guilty of the men's murder. Natasha Akhtar, 23, from Birmingham, Amir Jamal, 28, and Sanif Gula Mustafa, 23, both from Leicester, were cleared of murder but convicted of manslaughter. Co-accused Mohammed Patel, 21, from Leicester, was found not guilty of murder or manslaughter. Police video shows the moments leading up to the crash. Nearly 129,000 followers on TikTok, where she posted about fashion and beauty, set a trap for Mr. Hussain. On the night he died, the 3-month retrial heard. Prosecutors said Mr. Hussain, from Banbury in Oxfordshire, had been lured into meeting with the Bukhari on the pretense he would be given back £3,000 he said he had spent on taking his lover out during their relationship. Instead, Mr. Hussain and Mr. Ijazuddin, who had driven his friend to the meeting in a Tesco car park in Hamilton, in Leicester as a favor, were ambushed and then chased by two cars. The court was told Mr. Ijazuddin's car split in two and caught fire after hitting a tree at the Six Hills Junction on the A46. In the early hours of February 11, 2022, Karwan, 29, from Leicester, and Jamal, 23, from Loughborough, were driving the vehicles used to pursue the victims. Hashim Ijazuddin left and Saqib Hussain, both from Banbury, died at the scene. In a 999 call made by front seat passenger Mr. Hussain moments before his death, he said their car was being rammed off the road by balaclava wearing assailants in two pursuing cars. In the call, a distressed Mr. Hussain said, "There's guys following me. They have balaclavas on. They're trying to ram me off the road. They're trying to kill me. I'm going to die. Please, sir. I just need help. They're hitting the back of the car really fast. Please, I'm begging you. I'm going to die." A scream was heard on the line before the call abruptly ended. Ansreen Bukhari left and her daughter Mahek stood trial alongside 6 other people before remanding the convicted defendants into custody. Judge Timothy Spencer Casey said, "You know the sentence will be very serious." Sentencing is due to take place on 1 September. Following the verdicts, Mr. Hussain's family said he was a much-loved young man who was kind, compassionate, caring, and sensible. His loved ones said they had been shattered by this senseless act and were still struggling to come to terms with the enormity of their loss. In a statement they said, "Saqib's death has brought so much sadness, not just to his family, but to the many people that knew him. We have hope and confidence that Saqib has found eternal rest with our Lord, and that we will get to be with him again when we pass. We also pray that no family will have to go through our experience." Clockwise from top left, Rekan Karwan and Raiz Jamal, who were found guilty of murder. Amir Jamal, Sanif Gula Mustafa and Natasha Akhtar, who were convicted of manslaughter. Mr. Ijazuddin's relatives said he was the superstar of their family and their world had come crashing down after his death. In a statement they said, "Everyone who knew Hashim loved him. His death is not just a massive loss to our family, but also to our whole community. Hashim was a cheeky young man who was always smiling, a handsome man who was beautiful both on the inside and out. He would do anything for anyone, was very caring and had a very kind heart. Hashim would always put others first and wouldn't hesitate to help others if they needed it. On that tragic day, he was simply helping his friend, and this resulted in his death." It has been extremely painful, not only losing Hashim at such a young age, but also in the circumstances in which we lost him. Saqib's father Sajid Hussein Center and Hashim Ejuddin's uncle, Ansar Hussein Wright paid tribute to the young men after the verdicts. Detins Mark Parish of Leicestershire Police said, "This was a callous and cold-blooded attack, which ultimately cost two men their lives." After setting Mr. Hussein and Mr. Ejuddin up, chasing them at high speed, and then ultimately ramming their car off the road, none of the defendants made any attempt to help the victims or to call for help. Instead, they drove on and then even drove back past the collision site.